right. Good morning, everyone. And thank you so much for joining us all here today. Today's shiur should be Le'ilu Nishmas, our dear friend Menachem ben Yisrael Yaakov, as well as my dear aunt Rivka Bas Gavril Tzvi, and for Zaidi, Reb Shmuel ben Yosef Dov HaKohen, and B'schos L'Rafua Shalema Bekarov, Mishalom ben Sarachel, Miriam Basara, and Yair Yeshia ben Chaya Atara. Today, we are on page 86 in the Ora Vigdor, for those who are following along. And today, we are going to kind of cap off, before we get into reviewing the 7 conditions and how it applies to Hashem. We're going to kind of cap off understanding what trust means and why Hashem deserves our trust. Now, he starts off like this. Someone who possesses all these 7 qualities that we spoke about, together with all the aspects that we mentioned earlier, Nishlemu Shaar Habitachon has completed all the necessary conditions to warrant putting trust in him. Of course, only Hashem has all these qualities for us to put our trust in him. And we need to understand the meaning of trust. The reason we need to understand the meaning of trust is because if we don't understand what it means, if we don't understand these seven aspects that we spoke about, the problem is you're going to have a hard time trusting in Hashem. Why? Because you might say that, Hashem has good intentions, right? He wants the best for me, but he doesn't always know exactly what I need. And that's why we needed one of those 7 that says that Hashem knows everything that you need. The things that you speak and the things that are deep in your heart, and even the things that you don't know you need. Hashem knows that you need those things. And therefore it's important to understand that you need all these 7 to understand them, because without them, or even if you're missing one of them that you're not understanding, you're going to have a hard time really putting your full trust in Hashem. Since Hashem meets all these conditions of effective trust, the person who knows this of Hashem is logically obligated to put his trust in Hashem. The person should prove his trust and let his mind rely on Hashem, not only openly by fulfilling mitzvos that he's supposed to do anyway, go davening and go learning, but also mitzvah shebelev, the things that are in his heart. There are a lot of mitzvahs that we all have to think about, we have to feel, things that people can't see. Uvavarav, and with his limbs, ulimasar elav, and he should be devoted to Hashem entirely. Once you know in your heart and your mind that Hashem is for you, then you will become entirely devoted to Hashem. And you will submit yourself to his edicts even when they seem to be against you, that even when Hashem prescribe something for you that you don't like because you don't see how that benefits you. But once you put your full trust, you understand that even if you don't understand it, even if it's painful. Rabbi Victor Miller says, when a doctor prescribes a medicine that tastes bitter, that you don't like, and you make a face when you drink it, kind of like when I take a shot of whiskey and I make that weird face. When you take that, but the doctor knows it's for your benefit, you need to understand that what Hashem does for you, even though it's painful sometimes, that it is for your benefit. And you will judge his actions and decisions of Hashem favorably. That when Hashem does these things to you, this means you will give Hashem the benefit of the doubt in all things. That any single time that something happens that you can't understand why that works for you and why that's a positive thing for you, you still have the benefit of the doubt. You still plow forward in understanding that whatever that is, it means that I need to have it. And sometimes, yes, sometimes Hashem needs to punish you. Sometimes Hashem needs to give you some sort of a structure to kind of, smack across the face sometimes. And we need that sometimes to put us in our place. And that's what it's about. Understanding that even when those things happen, that those things are for our benefit and we continue to trust in Hashem. And now, he talks about, before we finish, how Hashem deserves our trust. When we analyze these 7 conditions that we spoke about over the last couple of days, we see that they are not found in any other creation in this world. V'nimtzam kulam b'barei yis'ala, but all of these are found in Hashem. That any one of these 7 things, if you go back to them and you itemize them, and we're going to itemize them over the next couple of days to show you, this means that it's a mistake to trust even in the best human being. You know, it says in Yeshayahu, and also Rabbi Yaakov Emden writes in a Siddur also, you can't trust in any human being no matter how good they are. Even Avram Avinu, it says, you can't trust in him fully. Why? Because Avram Avinu can't be there for you for every single moment of the day. You don't live in the times of Avram Avinu, and that itself is proof, because Avram Avinu is not here today to be able to help you out physically, right? Maybe in Shemayim, he could do things to you, Yadav, whatever it is, but Avram Avinu is no longer here. So how could you trust in someone like Avram Avinu, no matter, even though he's a humongous tzaddik? And we all want to be like Avram Avinu, but we can't use our trust and putting it into a person or any object in this world only in Hashem, because they can't fulfill all these 7 conditions that are required in order for you to have full trust in Hashem. And that's why it's so important that we learn these 7 principles. And over the next couple of days, we're going to learn how that correlates with Hashem and only Hashem. It's so important to learn these things, because if you're missing even one of them, your day is going to be difficult. Most days you're going to have great days, and that's going to work fine. But on those really, really rough, tough days, the days that you really need to dig deep, if you can't understand even one of these aspects, it's going to be that much more difficult for you to get through that day, to continue having full trust in Hashem, and to understanding as to why He's doing what He's doing. And again, I just want to say something that we've said over the last couple of months. Not always do we need to understand what Hashem is doing. We just need to understand that whatever He's doing, that is for our benefit. That's the point. That if we're going to start trying to dig deep and get answers for every single thing that happens, you're going to eat yourself up. You don't have to have answers for everything. You don't need those answers. You just need to trust that Hashem is doing the right thing for you. That's all you need to do. And sometimes it actually makes it so much more difficult that when we can't explain the reasoning behind something, we just have a hard time getting through it. And that's the reason. That's what we're trying to bring out over here. That you're not going to always have a reason, but you need to trust that Hashem possesses these 7 aspects, and these 7 aspects are going to carry you through every single day of your life. Thank you, everyone, for joining us all here today, and I love you all.